Hello, hello. All right, so while we get going everywhere, I want to say hello, everyone. I saw a brilliant post this morning from Mike, who I would consider my friend, but also he buys my things. I want to work with him. He speaks highly of me, and it annoys me when we say hi, friends. So I will say hi, friends. Hello, enemies. Hello, that high school crush that never asked me on a date but still creeps on my story. And hello, Mike. I'm obviously joking. I am literally like in real life exactly how I am on both of my websites. So if this shocks you, I might not be for you. And if you wonder why my hair is so windblown and I'm all out of breath, it's because today is about my daily, weekly, recurring CEO habits. And this was a question that was actually submitted by Squarespace web designer Jessica Haynes. I will tag her afterwards. And originally I was going to do it next week, but I was like, well, I asked people to submit questions, so let's actually talk about them. Now, I want to be upfront and say that habits and I have an interesting relationship in the sense that it's possible for me to eat the same breakfast for 5 weeks in a row, then buy all the ingredients in bulk, and after 5 weeks, one day, and buying all of the ingredients, I'm suddenly over it. So I fall in and out of habits quite easily. So that's upfront. But I also will admit there's a bleepy noise and I don't know what it means. Oh, where's my bleepy noise? I know, ADHD cannot keep me habits. Exactly. Never diagnosed, but it seems fairly safe to assume my brain is not normal. Anyway, ever since getting this question, I've been thinking and analyzing, like, what are my habits? How do I set myself up for success, right? Because I'm not taking this to mean, like, CEO habits to me are things that you do to set yourself up for success in your business. And I have a couple, but there's not so many. My brain is brilliant. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I have categorized them by daily habits, weekly habits, and I wanted to talk a little bit about how I just set up my environment, just to be more pleasant, but also to be more effective, and some like really small things that have made a huge difference. I should have really decluttered my desk because if you are on Instagram, I'm actually going to show you, but I am not prepared for this. Speaking of bad habits. So, daily things. I have a posted to-do list where my fellow neurospicy people, there's nothing. Let me just block out the people I need to email. But, like, I have a daily posted to-do list. And I don't discriminate. Like, there's free emails, which took me 5 minutes. And there's a whole, make all of your free training slides for Thursday. So, my tasks are just jumped on there. My team is used to it, right? My team is used to me and my ways. So that's my daily posted to-do list. The other thing I do almost daily is email my list, which I think is very much a CEO habit. And this kind of separates between my two businesses, right? So I don't email every single day in both businesses. But if you add up the work days, I usually send at least 5 emails in a week. So that is an almost daily task for me, is to send an email. And if I'm promoting something, I'm emailing daily. So those are the work ones. I have one more, and that's money tracking. And this is actually, I use a spreadsheet that's also for sale on my website. I think it's $9. I made some beautiful calculators for you too. And that's my cash flow tracking spreadsheet. That is the thing I update daily. Like that thing, I open that 3, 4, 5 times in a day to update it when sales come in, but also to be like, what do I need to be aware of? What do I need to work on? How do I get these numbers to go up? It's just a good way for me to stay in touch with what am I doing when I'm behind my desk. So those are the free work ones. And then I kind of alternate / there's some things that for me are very much CEO habits I do daily, which is super boring. Taking my multivitamins. I take electrolytes on recommendation by Lori, who is genius. I have done a health coaching thing with her earlier this year, which has changed my energy levels. So I take my daily vitamins, I take my daily electrolytes. I try to get some morning sunshine when the sun is shining. Again, that's about like waking up in your circadian rhythm and all that stuff. Where it's like, I do that to feel good, but that very strongly benefits my job, right? My work as an entrepreneur. And then I kind of just chill out and give my nervous system a rest. There's like 3 things I don't do every day, but I usually do at least one of these each day, which is I either take a walk. That's why I'm a little bit windblown and out of breath because I had to like rush home because I was almost late for all of you. So that's my walk. I journal and or I meditate. And I think those are just things that science says they're amazing. We know they're amazing. Yet as soon as my calendar fills up or I'm busy or I feel overwhelmed, those are the first things that like fall to the wayside, right? That I stop doing, that I forget about, that I ignore. And being committed to doing at least one of these every single day makes a huge, huge difference. So those are the daily things. Then the weekly things, honestly, super simple again. And what's important about this is that I don't believe we need very complicated routines and things to become successful. And it's like the more complicated I make them, the less likely I am to do them. So it's like setting yourself up for failure almost. So weekly things, I have a budget and I budget weekly. Every single week I go in and honestly, if you're based in the US, you have no excuse. I used an app called You Need a Budget. And for my US LLC, it's so much easier because it pulls in the transactions like automatically. All I have to click is like import and then reconcile and then just manually. Whereas for my Dutch company, I'm like opening PayPal in dollars, opening PayPal in euros, looking at this account, looking at that account. Oh, there's stuff from Stripe, brr, brr, brr. Like that one is super annoying and the US one is really easy. And I do this for my personal life too, which I think is just really important. Like that's a CEO habit, right? To be up close with your cash flow and the money in your business. So I do that weekly. Then I track my key metrics or my key almost input processes weekly. So currently what I track weekly in terms of processes is, have I gone live 5 days this week? Have I sent at least 3 emails for both my companies, right? Like I said, I email almost daily. Have I, my podcast is launching next month. Have I released 2 podcast episodes that week, right? So it's that sort of thing that I also track. And I try and do it daily, but honestly, it's easier because on Friday I do my budget and I go in there and I just check the boxes of like, check, I emailed on those days. And then it does a little bit of math of how far I am to my goal. And then finally weekly, and this kind of is a nice little bridge into how I set up my environment, is that I get little roses every single week and they sit on my desk and they make me really happy. And these are, normally I get like really bright pink ones, but sometimes it's what's in season, right? They're not super expensive, but they just bring me joy. And I think that that kind of brings me to how I set up, let me put those away, this is ridiculous. But how I set up my environment. So outside of the roses, I have a really interesting thing where there's a guy I follow on YouTube who talks about feng shui and how we use our decorations in our environment. And what I did was, so my desk used to be like here, and this cute picture of my dog when she was a puppy was always behind my computer screen. So no one could ever see it, right? If you were going to call, you saw the other side. So you saw my closet, you saw my poster, you just saw the other side. And the door is behind me. And in feng shui, that's a bad thing because that's where predators like leap out and grab you. And there's lots of energy. Like the energy comes in through the door mainly. So it doesn't feel nice to sit with your back against the door, right? And if you're like me and you read like steamy romance novels with army dudes, they also don't want to sit with their back to the door, right? The back to the solid wall is a lot safer, feels better. So I kind of rearranged my entire space and I pulled my desk more towards the middle. And now I'm sitting behind my desk and I've got like my bookcase here that I styled recently. And it feels a lot nicer. Like it's called the command position, and I feel like I'm in command of the space and of my time. And it's been surprising to me how much nicer it feels to sit down behind my desk when there's like flowers on them and my back is towards the wall and I'm facing the room. So that's just made a huge, huge difference in weird CEO habits, but I'm constantly looking for how can I improve my space? How can I improve my environment? How can I improve my experience? And similar to this is like right now my desk is really messy, but it is set up so that I can hit live and be live instantly almost. So my podcast mic, right? I don't unplug it anymore. So I used to unplug it and remove it. It now just sits in the corner and just before I put it where it needs to go. And for Zoom calls, oh yay. Let me wave at my friends on the gram. My people on the gram. Sorry, Mike, I said friends again. And it just makes it really easy because when I have to go live, I'll pull my mic in front. I have a stack of. You're a little bit lower than normal right now because I was using. I used my own deck earlier, but I have like a stack of affirmation card and tarot card decks, so I can put my phone there and just immediately go live on Instagram, and you can see me. And it's not perfect, but it's like hit live, put it down, done. So it's really, I think a very good CEO habit is to look for how can you remove friction that makes the things that you need to do easier. And for me, one of those is like my computer is set up to go live at any time. The flowers that I like are on my desk. My favorite pens are in my little pen holder, including like one of my clients got me, and it says, "You're doing fucking great." Like these are wonderful, right? So it's just making sure that you have a nice space and that there's less friction. Is a very, very big thing for me. One that it's not a monthly habit, but I'm always looking for how can I improve? How can I make this easier? And I think that makes a very, very good CEO habit. All right. So with that, I will leave you. If you aren't signed up yet for Not Another Scaling training happening on Thursday, it is literally a mess of like cards and drawings and pens because I am working on the contents for this week's free masterclass. So if you go to Sandra Vanderlee-Scaling, you could just sign up. I will send out a replay, but obviously I'd love it if you are there live. And I hope to see you all there on this Thursday. So that's 2 days from now. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your CEO habits are if you have any additions or any questions about these.